You're tuned to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is a program called The Wonderful World of Wardini Books, and it's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio Lou from Wardini Books in Havelock. How you going, Lou?
Really well, Ken.
Great. You've got two stores, one on Havelock North in Napier Road?
No, Tomato Road in Havelock North.
Jeez, we've been show for about 2 years, I think.
I don't remember some days, that's okay.
And in Hastings Street in Napier.
Yeah, that's the one.
4 more great books, and we're going to start off with looking at Puffin the Architect.
This is a absolutely gorgeous.
Fabulous drawing.
Yeah, it's a picture book for children, probably of about 4 and up. Maybe a bit younger, it depends on the kid. And it's by Kimberly Andrews, and she has done the words and the pictures. And it's by Puffin Books as well, which I think is quite cool. So Puffin is an architect, and she's got a pretty difficult job on. So she's Puffin. I draw plans for lots of different homes, from cottages and bungalows to mountain huts and domes. I create my client's perfect home, custom made and clever. These pufflings, though, these baby puffins, they're hard to please. My toughest clients ever. And she goes through in quite some detail. They want a home, they want the best home. And she's saying, well, how about this one, like Platypus the Baker's, and it's got a lot of clever cupboards, and it's got this, and this, and the pufflings are all, no. And how about this one? And look how much detail is in those illustrations. So this one, we've got Otter's fishing boat, and it's got clever cupboards again. Clever cupboards is a recurring theme, and little holes for this and bits for that. And no, we don't like the fancy brackets, say the pufflings. And no, this is my favourite one, Detective Hounds. A lot of clever cupboards for his solved and unsolved cases, and furniture that folds away, revealing hidden spaces. I like the sneaky bits.
That's my sort of room. I love that.
It's great, and all those bookshelves. And the pufflings are like, no, don't think so. And we go, and it just gets increasingly more complex, and homes designed for specific purposes and specific characters, and then a really lovely punchline in the end when they've just like, no, we don't like that, we don't like that. That's it, I quit, says Puffin, the architect. And I'm like, but we're not platypuses or otters or any of these things. We want a puffin cottage. And the architect is like, you mean a home by the sea? And it just turns out that they've already got the perfect home. And it's their home, and she's their mum. And it's absolutely brilliant. And Penguin Books, Puffin Books, are running a competition that goes with that book. I have forms for it. The child can design an amazing room that would make Puffin proud. It might be a dream room with a wall-sized aquarium or an indoor basketball hoop or whatever. Or then you can design it on this special piece of paper. Yes. And if you win it, then Kimberly Andrews, the author of this book, will illustrate it for you and frame it. And fantastic. Yeah, that's a pretty good prize. What would you have in your room?
I'd have a billiard table. Oh, yeah. And I'd have a jukebox.
Yeah.
With the old 45s in it.
Yeah.
And I'd have a big book shelf with books on it like that.
Yeah.
What would you have?
Not far off from you, actually. We're actually looking into a pool table at the moment for our
marvellous.
Room, so yeah.
We'll get that jukebox, fill it up with 60s music, you'll be in heaven.
Oh, man.
Maybe a small bar in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah, too right. Well, look at that.
Perfect.
Kindred spirits almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us about the mysterious world of Cosetino.
Cosetino. This is book 1, I think, The Missing Ace. It's a series of books for children of about 7 and up, I would say, perhaps a 6 if they're starting to read fluently. And it's by Cosetino the magician, with a little bit of help by Jack Heath, who is one of my favourite authors. He writes for all ages, for this, to write to adults. I'm sure we've reviewed some of his books before. But in this one, it's this amazing world that they've created where there's an evil king and he's banned all magic, apart from the magic he wants to use. And Cosetino, then he said, well, I don't do magic, I do illusions. So he kind of gets away with it. And he's got a padlock who's his best mate, who's Lockie, the padlock, who's really good at picking locks. And then Professor Lizard that can change, Professor Camouflage that can change into anything. So he's good at sort of creating diversions. And each book comes with a free magic trick. So in this one, there's a card trick at the back. One of the other ones has got like a ball trick thing. Yeah, and there's at least 3 in the series so far, and I really rate them. And you look inside, and the text is broken up nicely with really vibrant illustrations, and some of the words are highlighted as well, and they're all sort of technical words. Like on this one, you just read down, it says chain, rope, padlocked, hook, pulley, and on this one, horror. So
I love it.
really appealing
Yeah.
for kids who are into magic or into adventure and are about 6 and up.
I've tried doing magic tricks, and obviously it's a lot harder than what it looks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have you ever done it?
No. So living with the magician, I just let him get on
yeah.
with that. But it
That's
takes
true.
a lot of practice,
I bet it
like
does.
constant practice
Yeah.
to make it look real.
Too right.
Yeah.
You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is the wonderful world of Wardini Books. Wardini Books has 2 stores, one on Hastings Street in Napier, open 7 days a week.
Absolutely.
As is your one in Tomato Road. You have a web page and a Facebook page. Next book we're going to talk about is called Scrublands. Sounds
Yeah.
like a prison.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But it's actually the barren, dusty, deserty, droughty bits of Australia
Oh, right.
is what it refers to. So it's out of Sydney, maybe 40k out of Sydney, that we're set in the Scrublands. And I love the way that books sometimes, the thriller of the year,
Yeah.
several of them will say that. But this one, I have to say, captivated right from the word go. And a journalist is investigating a year on after a series of grisly murders in this town. It's called Riverlands. And there was a very charismatic priest, and everyone loved him, and he set up youth schemes and things for the kids to do. And then one day, just before church, he shot 5 people dead.
Wow.
And then is killed by a policeman. So it was investigated, and it was this and it was this, and there were allegations of paedophilia and all sorts of weird, nasty stuff going on. And then Martin, our hero, for want of a better word, he's a journalist, and he's going to do the year after the event piece. And there's a lot more going on. So many people saying, actually, no, it wasn't this, it was this. And it might be that the priest was not who he said he was, and all sorts. And it's absolutely intriguing. And there are so many threads coming together or not coming together or being disproved that it's just absolutely riveting.
Sounds like a 9.
Oh, it is a 9. Chris Hammer is the author of that one.
And available at X-Stock right now.
Yes.
And lastly, we're going to look at a book called Notes on a Nervous Planet. Is that a sort of like a green book? Like
Not
looking
entirely.
after-
I don't know how you describe it. We'll define it when
Yes,
we've
I'm
spoken
sure
of
right.
it. So this is Matt Haig, who is a novelist, and again, he writes for adults and he writes for young people as well. All his books concentrate on what it is to be a human being, what actually makes us different from other creatures or not. And in this one, he's very candid about the fact that he has suffered from anxiety and depression. He's had some quite severe mental health issues. And he wrote a book called Reasons to Stay Alive that dealt with, just as it says on the tin, why he chose to be alive rather than not. And in this one, he is talking about how technological change has just gone whoosh. If you think of a bell curve, it's just gone like a cliff face. But human beings are not catching up with it. And it's created almost an anxiety epidemic. And he's talking about things like all these kids that compare themselves to the images they see on Facebook and Instagram, and then they fall short because that's not real.
No.
And the media and how it constantly saturates you with negativity, and how you have to really kind of switch off from all that. And he just says a lot of it's one of those books that I've gone through. I've turned pages, I've underlined things. We're not encouraged to live in the present, we're trained to live somewhere else, the future, and if you start to think about that, it all makes really good sense, and it's very readable, and it's in little bite-sized chunks. How to stop worrying about aging is a whole little bit, because it's just
We all
so
do
dumb.
worry about it too,
It's like, your Botox isn't going to save you.
No, it isn't. But you sort of feel when you're getting old, you think, oh, gee, my life's behind me.
Yeah. So it's kind of a self-help book,
Yeah.
I suppose, but he's just coming from, he's an amazing writer in the first place. He's put it into understandable, common sense language, and he's coming from his own experience. So I think it's a book that everybody should read if we're going to survive 2018.
That's Matt Haig, Notes on a Nervous Planet. So if you want any of these books, we can come and see you at either one of your stores, open 7 days a week. Lou, as always, our pleasure. You look after yourself. Talk to the same time, same place next time.
Cheers. Thanks, Kim.